Previously on Miss President.
Coletta Kwana, stand up. Angela Mwihaki, stand up. Jacqueline Koni Mungumi, stand up. Lucy Daisy, stand up. Today we were supposed to have only 12 more contestants into the next episode. However, because of the change that we have seen in the four of you, it was almost impossible not to give you another chance in the academy and to see how best you can improve and become better. So congratulations, you're back into the academy. Nadia Abdallah and Bright Star Kasioka, the two of you have the greatest promise that we can ever have. We are going to let you go home, but one thing we know is that you are our promise. When we announce for the next season of Miss President, it will be a pleasure to have your names among the people who will be in the next house, because you have learned, you have gotten the exposure, and I do not understand why you will not be there again. Thank you so much. Yeah. Your Excellencies, this is another chance to battle it out so as to be the ultimate Miss President. So once more, congratulations and make us proud. Thank you.
And now, here's a quick look at the contestants who make up the top 16 and the parties they belong to. Hi, on this very special episode, we delve deeper into the lives of the remaining contestants. I mean, what kind of leaders are they really? What do their colleagues, their friends and families think about them? So join us as we travel to the various counties that represent, and might I add, witness the beauty that is this country called Kenya. Hii ni Miss President. Over 1,000 applications were received from all over Kenya, and from these, 70 contestants were shortlisted. After a series of auditions, 40 women were selected, and they are battling it out at the academy, where they are going through a process of training, tasks, challenges, problem-solving activities, presentations, and eliminations to eventually be elected Miss President. Here are the counties that are represented by the remaining contestants. We are here at a ward called Geshagi. It's a chief's office. And in here, we're going to see one of our contestants and see what she does. So basically, she focuses on women, or supporting women, and as far as gender-based violence, getting them out of that situation and empowering them economically. Okay, so this is what she does. Let's see.
Foundation imekuja hapa kwenu kwa mambo kama hayo. Tutaangalia ni njia gani tutasaidiana na wewe.
So what drove me specifically to get into the space of working with women, stakeholders, government, other civil society organizations in the field of prevention, mitigation and response to all forms of gender-based violence? I see myself in every girl who's been abused. And I feel now the burden, to look back and hold someone's hand who is struggling with the same things that I struggled with. And really, if you look at statistics in Kenya, what's really killing women more? It is all forms of violence. some which make women and girls not proceed with their education, some which cause children to be married off, to other older men, female genital mutilation and cut, except it is actually fixed, then women and leadership issues is still like miles and miles away from our reach.
Actually, I was just discharged from a mental hospital after going through depression. She mentored me all through that. She talked to me, she showed me love. So now after we have been mentored, now we mentor others.
Oh, I see. Betty's compassion and character shine, whether at home or with professional colleagues.
Betty gave us a parting shot that I don't think anybody would forget. The theme was, "Are you the one?" And it was picked right through from our day-to-day experiences, which cuts across from both our litigants and even we ourselves when we are serving members of the public. And I think on a measurement, by the time we were all living there, we had a good Christmas. We came back and I believe that we are picking up the positives of who we really want to be in the judiciary.
I would call my mom a friend. She's somebody whom I found very easy to talk to. So from the outside, she may seem like 100% professional, very tough, but at home, she is exactly what you needed to be, and that's a friend, somebody you can confide in.
My brother, it's good to see you.
Good to see you again.
This is the guy who first hired Coletta straight from law school.
Initially, Colette came into my law firm as a student. She struck us being very meticulous, being on top of her field in terms of her ability to express herself and to be able to bring out the right information. She was one person willing to go out of her way, put in more time in terms of ensuring that the client's assignments are delivered.
My dad died when I was 9 years old. And so then one night, in the midst of all this and moving into a much smaller house with really nothing, I had that painful cry. And I just asked her, "Mom, what is it that I can be to prevent this from ever happening to you again?" So in my mind, I knew it was a policeman. For obvious reasons, you walk with a gun and you shoot. But she told me a lawyer. Because sometimes I see people whose homes are being taken away from them and I feel I can do something. There's a lot of technicalities. Sometimes clients don't get things, not because their lawyers weren't smart enough, but because of a technicality in law that somebody never saw it coming. And I'm like, what's the justice? Which then also made me become a mediator, because you're able to get the same results, but with less stress and less hassle, and people don't walk away being, bitter with each other. But I think that with the title of Miss President, I can actually get into a bigger space and radiate this light of mine into more people, to get people to think differently and to have different priorities that can save the next generation.
Colette has a lot of passion in when she's passionate about something, she's really passionate about it. When she's passionate about integrity, she's passionate about justice, and passionate about things being done right, things being done in a just manner. She's passionate also about opportunities, entrepreneurship. She's a business lady. Over the years, I've come to see her evolve as a business lady, and I've really come to appreciate her business acumen on matters. She's an extremely good negotiator, and I really admire about that. She's passionate about family. She's keen to see not only her potential being used to the fullest, but also that of those that she is with.
Moving outward from Nairobi, we find Caroline Chege doing what she does best in Kajiado County.
I've invested in people, and not just any people, watu wa Mathare na Gishagi.
I got launched into politics that believes in integrity, transparency, accountability, and having the people's best interests at heart. In 2010, they had a caucus in Bomas for all the women, and I sat there alone listening to Charity Ngilu talk about her experience of vying for presidency in 1997, listening to Phoebe Asio, Martha Karua, how they got disowned by their family, the violence they have faced, the abuse they have faced, all the hardships. And I decided if they have overcome all that, who am I not to? I was a woman on fire, or a girl on fire. So I managed to fundraise over 2 million. So I spent it all on paying school fees for orphans,
So I'd go to the slum area and find out, sit with the wazee and the women, find out the need. They'd tell me, "Hii barabara ipitiki." I'd go and maram that road. So whatever their need was, I'd sort it out without even opposition. So for me, my political journey is basically making the lives of those in informal settlements and the poor better. That's where my heart is. I believe that as a leader, we must have leadership that has a vision for not just present, but future generations. I want my children's children to know that their mother did something for the community, did something for their generations, did something for the future.
I know Karen Chege very well. In 2013, when I was running for parliamentary seat, she was running for MCA, and she lost narrowly the first attempt. I saw talent in her. Then I thought it's good we put her in leadership. Then I called her to work in the CDF board.
Carol, I appreciate her because she stands for higher ideals. She suffers no prejudice, doesn't judge as such. She's very objective, even when you are doing carrying out a conversation on whatever topic. She's very informed. So she's ripe for leadership. In fact, one thing that I cry out for her is that I find her to be underutilized.
We're in Makindu, in Makueni County. It is hot. Na tumekamcommit one of the contestants. Ni mama moja wa msiria sana. Her name is Jacqueline Koni.
I involve myself with the community service where I talk to women and youth in relation to life in starting of small businesses. Why? Because I'm interested in business. I'm a business person myself, and also in training. I've done business administration in entrepreneurship, and therefore I'm very passionate in creating employment, not necessarily by employing through the government, but also ensuring that women and youth can do something small out there to make a living. My extended family has also supported me, and they cheered me up when they heard that I'm vice chairperson. They were like, this is great, do it, you can do it. When I joined Miss President, they were like, let's keep on, and they are all here to support me so that I can be the best version of me.
The one thing that she has helped us with is sensitivity to how we are employing the female gender. And this is something that we have been quite deliberate. When we are cutting deals as men in parliament and in those corridors of power, we prefer not to have women around because generally they are more honest.
Jacqueline nafikiri kwa muda ule wote mimi nimemjua, amedhihirisha uongozi kwa nyadhifa mbalimbali, hasa mwanzo akiwa mwalimu. Baadhi ya biashara alizokuwa anafanya za kibinafsi kando na kazi ni kampuni ambayo ilikuwa inapeana mafunzo entrepreneurship, leadership nini. Hata nyumbani yeye amekaa nyumbani akiwa peke yake, mimi nikiwa nazunguka katika kazi, na ameketi pale akiwa anapanga vile nyumba na familia nzima itaendelea.
Is Nyeri County the place where the first Miss President will come from?
I raised the Nyeri youth voice to the county and national government officials on matters of employment, advocacy, and even getting our messages across to both the county and the national government. Most of our leaders think that social media has got no impact in terms of getting advocacy messages across. But with the use of Facebook and Twitter, we were able to mobilize Nyeri County youth to actually question the county government as to why they would have a government without involving young people. And this advocacy movement spilled over from social media to mainstream media to every street in Nyeri County, up to a point that the governor could not proceed in his with his current government without involving young people. The result was that we were able to get a youth CEC in the current government, and we were able to establish ourselves as a voice that cannot be taken for granted, and a voice that represents people who know what they want and who also want to be included in government. I am investing in a generation of women and men who will take over this county in terms of governance and leadership, and even other spheres of our economy in Nyeri County.
What's different about her?
She's the best, and also she's honest, she is empathetic, and also she's a go-getter.
Well, I've known Anne for the last couple of years. What captured my attention is how articulate she was, how passionate she was about youth affairs, and how she could so well deliberate and articulate on the issues, despite the fact that we had quite a big group of people who are not professionals or who are not highly literate. She was able to break down the complex idea of procurement to a very, very basic and understandable way.
And from the word go, she has been a leader. And I remember very well when her father died, and now he is struggling, she's in primary school. She used to tell the uncles, we belong to Kei. Kei is her father, although dead. And she was fighting, and in fact, she helped me very much to think about how we are going to push and get our things which we have now, the shamba and whatever we have.
Over 1,000 applications were received from all over Kenya, and from these, 70 contestants were shortlisted. After a series of auditions, 40 women were selected, and they are battling it out at the academy, where they are going through a process of training, tasks, challenges, problem-solving activities, presentations, and eliminations to eventually be elected Miss President. Here are the counties that are represented by the remaining contestants. And now, here's a quick look at the contestants who make up the top 16 and the parties they belong to. Our next contestant, Angela Mwihaki, works in Nairobi and lives in Kiambu, where she also mentors young girls as part of her board member duties.
The day you realize I am here for me, and it's not for my mom or my dad, then you make the best out of it.
Angela joined us in 2014. After the death of her mother, we thought it wise that she should come and join us. So that we do not wipe out her legacy, let us take one of her daughters. So the personality in Angela is a personality that she does not want to fail. Therefore, whatever task she's given by the board to run or to do, she does it with her whole heart.
I am a broadcast journalist, but my training is in law. The role of the Kenyan media is to, one, be the voice of the people, two, inform the people. We may not be going in that direction. We become extremely political, we sensationalize, we dwell on the most irrelevant of topics. And that is a tragedy, because through the power of vernacular service and all these other things that we're doing on radio, you can empower the Kenyan so they can do more and know more. So if they need help, who do they turn to? Because people still believe a lot in radio. They'll tell you radio ilisema. This was said by the radio. So we need to rethink what our role is and actually perform it. Having that media background, you've been exposed to a lot. You understand some of the issues better than maybe some of your regular Wanjikos and Nafulas. So why not? That's like saying, so then if media practitioners cannot be in politics or cannot be in leadership, who should be?
Outstanding quality that Angela has that would translate well into leadership, which is very decisive. I think she brings a lot of honesty to the job, where you're able to not just set goals for yourself and make promises, but also admit when they don't go right and regroup from there. So I think that ability to be decisive, but also to be honest, something which is lacking in leadership today, and I think Angela will bring that in a big way to national leadership.
On the other side of the country, we meet some young and talented ladies.
Sisi kama mayouth tusimame kidete, tuungane, tuchague viongozi wema. Haya maneno ya kuchoma na kupewa pesa ndio tuchague viongozi, tukataane nayo kabisa.
So my passion is on better leadership. I am just trying to mentor them and tell them that we do not want to be given 100 votes so that we can vote for people, because we vote for them and they do nothing. So as I mentor them, I also tell them that I am going to buy in 2022. I feel so bad when people are not given whatever they deserve. As in, I don't really understand why roads can't be made. I can't understand why kids can't go to school. I am not a supporter of ladies saying that they want to be given something. I still feel like that we are equal. I don't sell myself by being a lady. It doesn't work for me. I vied when I was in second year. The man is always the main person, then the lady now is the running mate. So for me, I was the main person, then the man was the running mate. My running mate was in fourth year. So it was so weird. We got abused. As in, unatukanwa mpaka unajiuliza, do I really need this? And you know that is campus. So people will talk about you. People will say you did things that you didn't do. Not forgetting that I had a very supportive dad. My dad used to fund my campaigns. If you want something, it's not going to be easy. Politics is something that you enter knowing that anything can come, including death. If you want to bring change, you have to be ready for anything. And when I went to the university, actually, I got to know so many people, like so many people. So by the time I was finishing university, because I have been a student leader, so I get to know a lot of people. And you see, most people that I interacted with when I was a student leader were politicians.
I've walked the journey with Daisy. She has been so consistent and she has been so aggressive and ready to learn. And what even impressed me most about Daisy, when I formed the Court to Queens, I used to involve Daisy as the secretariat to also help me map the young ladies out there who are working, who would like to join the trade unions. And truly, she really mobilized a lot of ladies and the movement grew so big. And I'm so happy and so proud to see her contesting in Miss President.
I also do mentorship. Of course, I work with Konrad Adenauer-Stiftung. It's a Germany organization that is to mentor politicians, young politicians. So I am one of their mentees. Like, they are looking at my political life until I become whatever I want to become. So I have been working with them. So they mentored me to become a mentor. So in my community here in Kirinyaga and Dia constituency is where now I am trying to mentor the youths.
The fact that I am a mentee gives me the opportunity to show the young guys like myself to prove that yes, a young man, a young lady can become a leader. They can take a leadership role and move this country up.
When it comes to leadership, it does not mean you should be a leader because of the gender. So as I can see my daughter, she has the capacity of leading just like any other person. She demonstrated leading from the time of birth. She has led in all areas where she has been schooling.
Even in what some may consider conservative communities, young women are getting their voices heard and their influence felt.
I never stop at challenges. I learn from my mistakes. There's that perception as a patriarchal community where I come from. Women are perceived to be less vocal. They should be very preserved and all culture. You just have to fight norms because rules are there to be changed. And if I didn't come out, fight for women, for youth, for young people, then most of the impact or the steps we've made would not have been made. Meaning we would be 5 years back, because that's when I started my initiative, and we wouldn't be seen. My leadership, it's transformational leadership. It's you before me. I'm passionate about first education, very much. I'm also very much into women empowerment. That's a whole sustainable development goal. Gender equality, that's something I really fight for and I'm passionate about. I'm also passionate about youth, issues on youth and children also, because children are the foundations of our society, and I'm passionate about health. We are human beings, our health first.
Perfect description for me, one word. Allow me to use a Somali word, Shankaron. Shankaron translates to a girl who's better than many put together. So her strength, her personality, her charm, her charisma, and the fact that she has this ability of standing in front of Somali men and getting a room to keep quiet, silence, and listen to her. That is something. She went to uni but spent her time coming back home. That hunger for servitude. Garissa County and this northeastern region is going through a lot of problems regarding the youth, radicalization because of unemployment and lack of education. More often than not, we get leaders, the older people, coming to the youth and telling them, oh, you know, don't do this, don't do that. So Ummi is the one who's bridging the gap as one of them. I know the problems that Ummi as a person is going to encounter along this journey, but I know there's hope. I know there's something different.
Ummi, when she was young, she came with these many ideas of paying school fees from poor students who cannot pay using her own resource.
Hi, so we are in Uasin Gishu County, specifically in Eldoret town, where we come to a factory, small, nice, cozy factory called the Garment Solver, which belongs to one of our contestants who we're going to just meet in a few seconds. Her name is Gertrude Kurgat. Remember her?
Gertrude is my co-director. I'm director of operations. She's the commercial director and also marketing. This is the best industry to employ more youths, because if you have like 1,000 machines, you are employing 2,000 youths. 1,000 during the day, 1,000 during the night.
So I believe leaders are born then made, and I have been a leader in primary school, high school, and in the university, which built me up and built my capacity to run for national leadership. It actually gave me that inspiration to run. But I also believe that the environment around you contributes a lot to who you become in future. And I'm also a patron of Kambikuku Chicken Auction. Kambikuku is along the highway. So there are so many cars that pass there. And over time, there had been like a miniature market. It's like 4 people, 5 people, 6 people trade there. So I am this kind of person who doesn't bring practically what I'd call foreign ideas. I work with what you have. So I worked with an already existing thing. But people from the larger community could not understand why I was dealing with chicken.
First of all, this is where the chicken auction happened.
This is where the chicken auction happens.
The famous one.
The famous one. We sold chicken worth 6 million shillings.
In 30 minutes?
In 30 minutes. And it started as a very small project. I used to bring my friends and we'd buy chicken worth 50,000, 100,000. Then last year, we happened to just do extra branding and bring in more guests.
I see.
And it just blew out of proportion. But we are very glad and we want to grow it into something bigger that is able to support the economy of this community.
We all believe in the Constitution 2010, the article that talks about the freedom to offer oneself and the freedom to be chosen or to choose. And because we believe that women have a serious role in society, we really have to support ladies. And to be successful, we need to front these ladies who are courageous, to go and vie for these positions. And that will also kill the myth that women just want positions to be handed over to them. So I would ask parents or guardians to support their daughters to go into leadership positions.
Vipicho, we are at a ward called Matisi, at a slum called Kipsongo. We follow the travels and works of one of the contestants. In this area, she's known as Mama Kitamba. In Miss Present, we call her Shamala.
Jambo si mambo mengi, bajeti. Tujue bajeti yenye itawekwa na bajeti imeanza kutengenezwa. Masuala ya squatters iko wapi? Kutumia sheria kujijenga na kujitetea.
Whether you are married or not married, the challenges of being, in public spaces are still very difficult. They want an ideal wife who will stay at home and welcome visitors, and the man to be the leader.
But if it's vice versa, it's the woman who is in leadership, and then there's a question mark. We really need a lot of that support system where our children can understand that we must share mommy with the world. I have a lot of hopes for Kenya, and I'll be part of it, God willing. That I would want to see myself in policy spaces where I can inspire, but I can influence and I can act. Not for my own sake, but for my country.
Her passion was with children and women, and especially the vulnerable. And she was able to come up with several groups that actually became support groups of these survivors.
10 years with Shamala, what we see in her is confidence. When Shamala stands before any congregation, youth, the elders, with a lot of simplicity. That is something that is so beautiful, giving a lot of acceptance, even as she speaks with the community groups we are working with.
Wakati fulani wazazi ambaye wa mzee walianza kusema nimesaa wasichana wengi kushinda wavulana. Kijana ni mmoja. Akaanza kuuliza ni kwa nini wasichana wanaitwa frogs. Kwa hivyo akaanza kusema akikuwa atatetea haki za wamama.
When we started working with Shamala, actually I will say that there are a lot of things that she was able to bring to the organization.
Over 1,000 applications were received from all over Kenya, and from these, 70 contestants were shortlisted. After a series of auditions, 40 women were selected, and they are battling it out at the academy, where they are going through a process of training, tasks, challenges, problem-solving activities, presentations, and eliminations to eventually be elected Miss President. Here are the counties that are represented by the remaining contestants. And now, here's a quick look at the contestants who make up the top 16 and the parties they belong to. At the foothills of this county, this lady has shown that no mountain can stand in the way of great ideas and determination.
I'm a strategic management expert. I love strategy. And so I like using what I have for the benefit of others, for the glory of God. I find it inhuman and immoral that I sleep in a good bed and somebody else that I can see next door is suffering. And I find a lot of pleasure when I give to society. I feel very happy when I see somebody that I have impacted in terms of mentorship, in terms of contribution. It's not about money. I'm not a rich woman, but I use what I have to benefit others.
Part of the contributions that we've done as a team, where Lynette is basically one of our members, our founder members, is that we've done revision books for class 8, revision books for class 7, revision book for class 6. We've also done infrastructural development. So really, I would say her contribution has been immense because she's been a founder member and she has contributed so much in terms of ideas. Being a county official then, she also brought in a lot of knowledge in terms of how to administer all these associations, and on her own initiative, she started what we call Adopt a School, where now this model was replicated in many other schools, up to over 100 schools.
First of all, she's beautiful. And again, as I continue to live with her, I've realized that she's a very lovely wife. She has a big heart. Many times she challenges me by the way she is generous. She's also a very firm lady and quite submissive too, because again, she understands her role and her position in the family.
We are at Homa Bay County, where we meet
one of the contestants who've been through insurmountable challenges. Single motherhood all the way to where she is now, which is a County Executive Committee member of Homa Bay County. I'm talking about Nyeri Amondi.
Ninachukua fursa hii kumpigia nominated wetu asante Mama Nyeri Amondi. Ni mama ambayo yuko na vision kwa wamama.
But I also know that I'm beginning here in this dusty village. For me, coming into Miss President, that is the reason, why I got motivated. And I also know that I have capacity gaps that need to be worked on. And I'm also looking forward to having access to opportunities that are going to mold me into that national leader. But of course, in the short term of 5 years, I will want to serve the people of Homa Bay, definitely as I grow towards that big seat.
She's intelligent, she's a go-getter, and always strives to get her agenda right. She's gone out of her way beyond what the county can avail. You understand that most of the agenda that caters for special interests are still within the national government. So it is our duty to domesticate the same laws and bringing these laws into the perspective, the county perspective, has not been a mean achievement. It requires somebody who's aggressive, who knows which button to push, and she is really upped her game.
This for me is the most interesting. Building these partnerships, creating a community organization that can actually deliver and be sustainable.
For instance, we picked on farming, and we thought, the first thing, can we give these farmers some grafted mango trees? And then we see how they'll work out. So we began with 100 farmers, and then we gave them the mango trees. Each we are giving them 10 trees. And then over time we have been monitoring, and currently one of the farmers has almost 30 trees. He produces a lot of those mangoes, and out of that he's able to educate his children. Out of that he's able to take care of his financial needs, and he doesn't need to depend on the organization.
10 years from now, I think we already have it locked down that I'm going to be the president of Kenya.
Now we are in Kilifi County, specifically at a place called Mtwapa, where we are going to meet one of the contestants.
Sikizeni, ndo mimi nawaambia, angaleni, sisi tuachezwa na kitu kimoja. Sisi hatufuati katiba na sheria vile nasema. Na nyinyi mnakubali kwa sababu sisi hatujui sheria. Na ndio mimi nawaambia tuachekelele sana vijana. Tuachekelele, tuangalie nini venye sheria inasema na sera venye inasema.
I started community work at 15. That means I was in high school. I lost some friends due to abortion and drug abuse. As you see, my town is so cosmopolitan. There's a lot of tourism going on. So there's a lot of commercial sex work and early teenage pregnancies and drugs. High school is always the peak for a teenager. You want to go to this good high school, and then when you're coming back home, you want to meet with your friends, and you're like, shule yenyu mnafanyaje? Sisi tuna ball games nini? I didn't get that. Because when I came back, I came and found out most of my friends didn't go to high school. And then I started getting discriminated because I was the only one who went to high school. Majority of my friends were pregnant, others were married off, and others got into drugs. So suddenly, I was the talk of the town. I was like, she's too bossy, she goes to school. So we cannot start mingling with her anymore. We need to put her aside. But for me, opposition was good because some of the community members were like, she stays here, so she needs to tone it down. As in the coast, women are not allowed to speak. The people who even would go to my mom and they would tell her, can you tell her to shut up? For me, I just wanted to show the girls in Kilifi because majority of them know me. Even for us who are in the ground, you can get on top. And at times, it makes me break down and cry a lot, and then I just say like, I'm done. I will not do community work. I'm done. I'm not going to carry people's burden. I have my own burden. I'm still very young. I should do something else. But later, when I wake up in the morning and then I hear there's something that happened in the community and it's so unfair, oh my God, I gave myself there in the middle of that case.
In 2008, this is when she was introduced to our office. And I think she was in Form 2. So by then, she was very young. But I felt that she had something that she wanted to actually explore and also share with other peers in the society. So this is when I personally encouraged her to be part of the panel of Fraternity of the Safe Community Youth Initiative.
Lakini ile kitu huwa ninamwaminia ni mtu akimaanisha, ni mtu ana nguvu na ni mtu anasimama na ukweli wake. Kwa hivyo akitoka aseme ameenda siasa, huwa anajua kweli pale ataenda aongee neno ambapo ninajua ni neno watu watamsikiza na watamuelewa.
At the furthest end of the journey in this episode is a lady who has gone the furthest in blazing an academic and leadership trail for her community.
After leaving KWS and not being able to succeed in politics, I started an NGO, a charitable organization, Wings of Empowering Pastoralist Girls and Women. And it is all about my social justice advocate. It's all about trying to speak out, to be the voice of the voiceless. The girls cannot speak for themselves. So I go look for donors or personally contribute my money, buy sanitary towels for girls so that they are able, because that is one of the cause of their dropout in schools. I lost a sister who killed herself because she had no one to go to after getting pregnant. And that was last year. So I want to come and tell these girls, even if you get pregnant, the government has a return to school policy where you can go home, give birth, come back to school, finish, go back and take care of your children. You don't have to die. You don't have to go and get married. So who is going to tell them if I don't tell them? I'm more learned. I know what the government policies are. I know there are civil societies that can help girls. So if I keep off from helping them, they will crash and die. And those are the motivational factors.
Ndio ameni encourage mimi. Ndio alianza hatua kwanza. Mimi hata nilienda wakati mwingine siku hata nataka kwenda shule kwa sababu niliona alipomaliza form 4 akaolewa. Sasa hata mimi nikaona afadhali hata nisiendelee, lakini baadaye alikuja kuni encourage na hata mpaka hii kasi hata nilikuwa nimekataa ku apply wakati ya kwanza, baadaye akakuja kuniongesha mpaka nikakubali nika apply. Alinisaidia sana kunisukuma na kunionyesha kwamba hata kina mama wanaweza kuwa viongozi.
Unaona saizi mimi nilikuwa disabled. Kuna wengine wanafichika huko manyumbani, hata watambulike, hata wajulikani. Kwa sababu unajua kwa sheria yetu sasa watu disabled wanachukuliwa kama mtu tu, kama umelaaniwa. Mimi saizi naona mimi ni very important kwa sababu sasa tumepata mama anaweza jitolea kutupenda hivyo mpaka hata sisi tutambulike.
Our next contestant commutes thrice a week to Nyeri County, where she works as a nominated member of County Assembly.
Whenever I go anywhere and I talk to young girls and young boys, I always tell them, close your legs and open your books. So everywhere I go, that's the promise I keep making them make. I helped found a team called Daughters of Raila, lobby group. And for us guys, the first thing that we began doing for the party, first was prayers. We were prayer warriors. And then we thought to ourselves, because no one will ever come to give us money and tell us, here is campaign money, go and campaign. So what us guys used to do is we make branded t-shirts, very interesting ones. So we used to sell pink t-shirts, hoods, branded hoods, and then we started doing something that had never been done before in this country, car wash. So we used to go to different towns, wash people's cars at an extra fee. We get funds, and then the funds are directed to the National Funds campaign kitty for the party. And the other thing that's also just ignited my political journey was when we were young. You know the way most children like watching cartoons on TV? Mine was watching Face to Face and Professional Review. Back then, I really used to like watching those programs. And I used to keep telling myself, one day I will be one of those guys that is out there talking about national issues, tackling national issues.
She has been very consistent. She's persistent about a cause. When we didn't do things her way, she didn't get offended. And she just came back with another option.
Within our family, we've been so much into politics. The day she told me she wants to apply for like a slot for nomination, I supported her and told her that this is the chance to make a difference.
This is the county that gave birth to the word Boda Boda, Busia County, and also the county where we meet our contestant, Bernadette Muyomi.
Bernadette, the way I know her, she is a lady who means business. She's a lady who doesn't like to work under atmosphere that is not clear. She does not want to do things in a very clandestine way, and that is why she resigned from the county government of Busia after realizing that her principles and her moral values were being diffused.
When you see Bernadette with her age groups, she fits in very well. And when you see Bernadette with people who are old enough to even be her mother, she fits in perfectly well. Whenever she could be given a task to do, at the back of her mind, she did not at any time forget that she was doing this for the people of Busia.
Bernadette Muyomi, who impressively was never up for nomination, gracefully exited the show with her head held high to pursue higher education in the service of the country.
Prior to coming to the Miss President reality show, I had been admitted to the University of Pretoria to pursue a Master of Philosophy program in disability rights in Africa. I happened to be the only female student sponsored to pursue that program. And at the time when I was leaving the show, I felt that I needed knowledge and to impact the continent. And this gave me an opportunity to start being part of dialogues that are happening at the African level. And I therefore felt it was a good opportunity for me to pursue it.
So there you are, there you have it, our remaining contestants in their element outside the academy, and what an inspiration they truly are. I mean, it's clearer now why each one of them has the ability and the drive to be Miss President. If you'd like to chat with them, on their individual social media handles, look out for their links to their stories from this episode at media_focus, that's Twitter, Facebook, at Media Focus on Africa, and Instagram at Media Focus on Africa. See you next week.